just because we like to record here at Campus Rec so we can upload the videos later. It's only going to record me, it's not going to record any of you, so you can feel free to have your videos on. It can be a nice sort of sense of community, feel like you're flowing with everybody. You can turn your video off if you want. I'm sorry if I didn't introduce myself, by the way. Hi, I'm Kate. I'm a yoga teacher here at Campus Rec. I'm very excited that you all are here to flow with me for Candlelight. And welcome. Thank you for taking the time, putting yourself first. This is true, especially for this class, but all the classes I teach. I hope that this is the spot where you're putting yourself first. I hope that's what you're doing by flowing with me today. And so with that, my words are suggestions. They're not mandates. I'd like you to go where your body would like to go and do whatever feels good to you today. I also am going to read the waiver from Campus Rec. Just since we're teaching online classes. So in order to make these classes as freely accessible as possible to our participants, we will be using a verbal warning and assumption of risk at the beginning of the class. Participation in this class is voluntary. Physical activity programs may result in injury, and by participating, you assume the risk of injury that may result from your participation. We strongly recommend that you participate from a space that is suitable for this activity. For example, make sure that you have moved nearby furniture and other potential hazards. If you're participating in a yoga class like this one or a class that involves laying on the ground, we recommend using a mat, or if you don't have one, a carpeted area. Participants are encouraged to stop if they experience pain or injury and should seek appropriate medical advice or care as needed. William & Mary Health and Wellness strongly recommends that each participant have an annual physical examination and follow the advice of your healthcare provider before participating. And I promise it's the only clinical part of this whole process. So if you're going to follow along with the playlist I created, the link is in the chat. You can go ahead and hit play on that very first song. And I think we're ready to get started. So we're going to start seated on our mats today. However that looks to you, you can sit cross-legged or you can sit with your legs extended out in front of you. If you wanted to sit on a pillow, if you had one, or if you had a blanket nearby that you wanted to sit on, or whatever feels really comfortable to you today. If you have a candle, because this is Candlelight, I'm going to recommend that you put it somewhere in front of your mat where you could look at it as a focal point. And we're just going to begin, though we always begin yoga class, by bringing some awareness to our breath. So we're going to start by inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the nose. Maybe your eyes close or you find a soft gaze on something in front of you, like your candle. And I don't want you to change your breath, not yet. I just want you to notice it. Maybe that's easier if you place one hand over your heart and the other one over your belly button, and you actually feel how the breath moves through the body on your inhales and your exhales. You notice which hand moves first as you breathe. And maybe you try to direct your breath to the hand that's over your belly button first and fill the abdomen before the chest lifts. We use our breath for a couple reasons in yoga. Our breath helps us to find movement. It helps us be in touch with our bodies for sure. Our breath also gets us right into the parasympathetic nervous system, the place of rest and digest, the place where the body can heal from everything and can relax and let go of stress. That is the place that we're going to try to be in for the entirety of this class. And the only thing you have to do to get there is you just have to think about your breath. You're not trying to get the brain to stop thinking. You're not trying to block out all of your thoughts. You're simply giving your brain an outlet, something to focus on instead of all of the beautiful thoughts that are popping up. On your next inhale, let the spine grow tall, crown of the head reaches toward the ceiling. On your exhale, the spine stays there, but the shoulders come down and out from the ears. I want you to take a mental body scan. I want you to treat your breath like a candle, and I want you to walk through the body with it. Use your breath to illuminate everything from the shoulders down to the rib cage, to the hips, to the knees and the ankles and into the feet. Go down the arms into the wrists and the fingers, and even up the back of the spine, the back of the neck, into the head, the face even. I want you to breathe into all of those spaces and just notice what each of them feels like to you today. Maybe you begin to move into an Ujjayi breath as we do this. Ujjayi in Sanskrit means victorious. We also call it our wave breath, because you're going to create a slight restriction at the back of your throat on your exhale. That's going to make your breath sound like a wave that's crashing through the body. Especially since we're not actually sharing our physical space with each other. Your breath is not going to bother your neighbor. So I want you to make your wave as loud or as quiet as you'd like it to be. And maybe as we continue this Ujjayi breath, we'd like to set an intention for today's class. Now, an intention could be a mantra. It could be the reason you stepped onto your mat today. But it's where you're going to draw a little bit of your energy and your focus from throughout class. If you can't think of a mantra or an intention, it's just not coming to you, don't stress. You're more than welcome to join me in my intention, which today is 3 things. I am strong, I am safe, and I am enough. If you set that intention, let it just sort of wash over all of you. Take it in. Settle into it. Maybe you begin to make some subtle movements with the body, bringing each fingertip to the thumb and back again, making some small circles with the wrists. Still focusing on our breath and those intentions we set. Maybe you want to inhale that chin to hover over the right shoulder as if we were looking towards the right. On your next Ujjayi exhale, coming back to center, pausing here, switching reversing directions on your wrist if you're making circles. And then inhaling to look over the left shoulder. We're not bringing the shoulder up to meet the chin. We're keeping that space there. Inhaling that nose back towards center. Maybe this time you inhale and that right ear comes to hover over the right shoulder very gently. Maybe the wrist stops circling. Inhaling that nose back towards center, pausing here for a full breath cycle. Before lowering the left ear to hover over the left shoulder. Inhaling that nose back towards center. Maybe the eyes flicker open a bit and you back a little bit more so you can see me. You can inhale those arms up towards a goalpost position. Not pressing the shoulder blades back behind you. The arms are about in line with the shoulders. But on your exhale, I want you to bring those palms down towards the ground. Feel how the shoulders round forward. Inhale, bring those palms back up. Exhale those shoulders down. Inhale, the palms come up. One more time. We'll exhale the palms down. Inhale the palms up. This time on your exhale, I want you to bring the elbows together in front of you. And exhale them away. And inhale the palms together. And exhale them away. And last time, we're going to inhale the palms together. Exhale them to the side. And let the hands float down to the sides. And then scooching so we have enough room on our mat, we're going to lengthen our legs out and just let them come a little bit wider than mat width distance, our toes facing up towards the sky. And this may be a little bit difficult if you're on a carpeted surface, but we're going to make it work anyway. I want you to inhale, tuck the toes in towards the middle, and then you're just going to bring the feet together. The hands can be behind the body to support it. On your next exhale, point the toes out to the side and drag the feet out a little bit. Inhale, bring the feet together. It can be a slow movement, doesn't have to go very wide. Exhale, bring them out. The knees are wide. If this is uncomfortable, you can go one at a time. Exhaling out. Inhaling in. Exhaling out. And inhaling in. We're just sort of warming up the hips. Pretty difficult to do on carpet. That's so fun. One more time. And then bring those knees in. I want you to hug the body. Feel that spine round over the knees. Maybe you roll those shoulders out a little bit. And then however is most comfortable for you to come to your hands and your knees in a tabletop position, that's where we're going next. And I'm going to move you guys one. All right, you're going to know that you are in your very best tabletop position when your wrists are stacked right underneath your shoulders, your knees are stacked right underneath your hips. If you take a peek through your legs, you shouldn't be able to see your feet. And if the wrists are uncomfortable, we can always come down to the forearms and replace our wrists with our elbows. The exact same thing here. We have a nice flat back wherever you're at. And we're just going to warm that spine up with some cat and cow. So we're going to inhale, the belly button comes down, the gaze lifts. Exhale, I want you to push the mat away. It's like a string is pulling the belly button up towards the ceiling and the gaze goes under. Inhale, the belly button comes down, maybe the toes tuck. Exhale, I want you to push the mat away, the feet flatten. Find this 4 more times at your own breath pace now. Feeling free to exaggerate the movements as you'd like, rolling out the hips, rolling out the shoulders. Coming back to stillness in center whenever you're ready. We're going to work on those joints just a little bit more. So whenever you're ready, I just want you to inhale, float that right foot up behind you, toes point down towards the ground. On your next exhale, you're just going to bring that knee in towards the nose, round the spine, and then exhale it back out. Inhaling forward and exhaling back out. Inhale it forward. Exhale it back out. Let's float that knee back down towards the ground. Maybe you shake it out a little bit. We're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. Inhale, lift that foot up, toes point down towards the ground. On your next inhale, pull that knee in towards the chest and exhale it back out. And then inhale the knee, exhale it back out. Last time, inhale that knee in and curl, exhale it back out. Beautiful, let's float that knee back down towards the mat. I want you to flip your right palm where it's at on your mat so your fingertips face towards your knees and just bring each fingertip to the thumb and back again. Rolling that wrist out before you do the same on the other side. Flipping the left wrist, bring each fingertip to the thumb and back again. Rolling that wrist out. I want you to spread your fingertips on your mat wide, really pressing into each of the fingertips as well as into the L that comes between your index finger and your thumb. That's what's going to protect your wrist. On our inhale, we're going to tuck our toes. Exhale, lift the hips up and back for our first downward dog of class. I want you to get comfortable here. So take your dog for a little walk. Maybe you sink one heel towards the mat and the other, bending the knees as you go. You can bring both knees to hover just about 2 inches off your mat in a floating child's pose and then extend back up. It's okay if this doesn't feel particularly comfortable to you yet. We're still warming that body up. Coming back to stillness whenever you're ready. On an inhale, I want you to float that right foot up to the sky. Bring your gaze in between the hands so you can look where you're going. On your exhale, I want you to very gently, almost as if we're going in slow motion, step that right foot forward, somewhere towards that right thumb. Not really that concerned with how close it gets. Let's bring that left knee to the ground, left toes on tuck. Now take a peek at my right knee. It's right over top of my ankle or it's slightly behind it. If I'm going over towards my toes, I want to move that right foot out towards the front just a little bit. Beautiful adjustments. Now we have the option, we can stay here, or if you'd like, we can inhale and place our hands right here on the quad, or we can inhale those arms and float them right overhead, almost like we're holding a beach ball on top of our heads. Try and keep those shoulders down and out from the ears. Whichever place you choose to stay, I want you to try to find some stillness and use your breath, okay? Inhale into places that feel pressure. Exhale to relieve them. 2 more breath cycles here. Keep those shoulders down and out from the ears. On your next exhale, if our hands are overhead, I want you to pull them down to heart center and pour them towards the front of your mat to frame that front foot. On an inhale, let's tuck the back toes, lift that back knee, and then I want you to draw a semicircle with the palms towards the left side of your mat. Both of our toes are now going to point towards the left side of our mat, and we're opening up to our wide-legged forward fold. Couple of options here. We can inhale into the center and exhale, lunge to one side and then the other. Or we can pause here in our wide-legged forward fold and just sort of guide our hands to the middle to guide our hearts down towards the ground, whichever one feels better for your body today. We're still just guiding our body through some opening movements here. So we're not trying to push the body past its limits, never. Coming back to stillness in the center, wherever you're at. On your next exhale, you're gonna guide those hands back towards that front foot, that right foot at the top, pivot onto those back toes. Beautiful, and then I want you to fly that right leg high to the sky and down to meet the left. Option to take a vinyasa flow if you'd love to take one. If you want to flow together, we'll inhale forward into a plank position. Let's bring our knees to the ground, untuck the toes, keeping the elbows as close to the body as we can, lower all the way down to the mat, all the way down, so we can rest on our cheek or our forehead. And then pressing the tops of your feet into the mat. Feel your kneecaps lift, they're off the mat. No weight in the fingertips as you inhale, just the shoulders float off the mat. You give me a little wave. Exhale back down, release the knees. Inhale, tuck those toes. Exhale, press the body up and back to your downward dog. Beautiful. Again, you know exactly where we're going, so if you want to guide yourself there, feel free. Inhale that left leg high to the sky for me. Bring the gaze in between the hands. On your next exhale, as slowly and as gently as you can, step that left foot forward towards that left thumb. The right knee comes down, the right toes untuck. Left knee is over top or behind that ankle, and we're finding stillness again. So we're either finding stillness here, and if our hands are on the ground, our hearts are lifted up as if we're trying to shine them forward, Or we want to inhale our hands to rest right here on the quad, or they can float overhead like we're holding that beach ball. Maybe what felt great on the other side doesn't feel as great on this side, so you change it and you find what does. And I just want you to breathe. Come back to that Ujjayi breath we started with. Two more breaths wherever you're at. On your third exhale, if our hands are floating overhead, we're going to pull them down the midline and then push them forward to frame that front foot. Inhale, tuck the back toe, lift that right knee, and we're going to draw that semicircle again, this time opening up to the right side of our mat. But I'm going to be on this side so you guys can see me. Same thing on this side. You can rock to the side, inhale towards center, exhale to the other side, or you can pause in your wide-legged forward fold and guide your heart down towards the ground. Whichever one feels great for you. Three more breath cycles wherever you're at, whichever option you're choosing. And then I want you to pause back in the center and complete that semicircle back towards the front of your mat where that left foot is in front. And then we're going to float that left leg high to the sky and down to meet the right. Option for another vinyasa flow if you'd love to take one. We can inhale forward. We can bring those knees to the ground, untuck the toes, exhale the body all the way down. Again, I want you to press the tops of your feet into the mat first. Feel the kneecaps lift. Gentle weight in the fingertips this time as you inhale up to a little bit higher of a cobra. Exhale back down. Inhale, tuck the toes. Exhale, lift the body up and back. And then I want you to bring your knees to the ground. Untuck the toes and the hips over the heels for a child's pose. Maybe the hands stay in front. Maybe they curl back down by our feet. And you rest. Child's pose is a place of restoration. So you're welcome to come here at any point in class. You're also welcome to come here, especially during those vinyasa flows. Vinyasa flow options are nearly endless. The most popular ones are the cobras or upward facing dog or cat and cow or child's pose. So whichever of those work best for your body and reset your spine and your energy, that's the one I want you to take, okay? Now I want you to come back to your breath. Notice if we've maybe elevated the heart rate just a little bit. That's okay. Find that Ujjayi breath that we started with. And come back to that intention if you set one. If you didn't set an intention and you'd like to now, feel free. If you're joining me in mine, just as a reminder, I have 3 for mine today. My intention is I am strong, I am safe, and I am enough. Now, when your body tells you it's ready, and not a single second beforehand, I want you to inhale up towards that tabletop position where we started and take a few rounds of cat and cow. And again, when you're ready and you want to flow some more, on an inhale, I'd like you to tuck the toes. Exhale, lift the body up and back for your downward dog. We're going to begin to build our flow here. So I want you to inhale that right leg high to the sky. Pull the gaze in between the hands. Exhale, that right foot steps forward. We've done this before. This time, that back knee is going to float off the mat. We still have the option to stay here. Or if you'd like, we can inhale those arms up and overhead. still floating in our lunge. I'm gonna move this back a little bit so you can see me a little bit more. Hi there. And those hands can float overhead. We're still trying to keep them down and out from the shoulders, or they can float right here at heart center. But I just want you to breathe. That front knee is over top of your ankle or behind it. The hips face forward on our mat. If we're wobbling, it means we're working, and I love to see it. Here's the part where the candle is really gonna come in handy. I want you to look at your candle, make some eye contact with it. Use it as your focal point. It's what's gonna ground you because we're gonna move a little bit from here. So staring at your candle, deep inhale through the nose, deep Ujjayi exhale. If those hands are overhead, I want you to pull them down towards the midline, still looking at that candle. Another deep inhale, deep exhale, and I want you to lean forward and push with your hands, almost like you're pushing a wall in front of you. And as you push, you're very gently gonna step forward into your Utkatasana or your chair pose at the top of your mat. Beautiful. And then I want you to inhale very slowly up to your Tadasana, your mountain pose. And I'm gonna squat so you can see me. Your Tadasana is your place of ultimate grounding. You are a mountain, you are unmovable and strong. So I want you to look down at your toes and your ankles and your feet. Maybe you rock onto your toes, your heels, the sides of the feet. You build that foundation. And you feel strong. Maybe you feel a little heat that we built up in that right leg. Don't worry, the left leg will have its chance. Inhale, scoop those arms up for me. Exhale with a nice flat back to the earth in that forward fold. First time being here today, I want you to have a generous bend in those knees. We're trying to get the heart as close to the thighs as we can. That means a generous bend in the knees, and that is not going to change. Even as our body might loosen up a little bit, we're still going to have this generous bend. Maybe you inhale for that halfway lift. You come to a tabletop back. Exhale all the way back down. Fingertips can walk to the left and to the right side of the mat. You can very gently shake the head no and nod it yes. Dangling is a great place to restore. And then I want your hands to tent on the ground in front of you. Peel off that right foot and step it back, and then peel off the left and come back to your plank position. Option for a Vinyasa flow if you'd love to take one. Move with your breath, whichever you choose to do. I'm gonna choose to do some cat and cows. Reset the spine, reset that energy. And when you're ready to flow some more, I'll meet you in a downward dog. From this downward dog, you know exactly where we're going. We're just doing it on the other side. Let's inhale that left leg high to the sky. Gaze comes in between the hands. I want you to step that left foot forward towards that left thumb. Option for the hands to stay grounded right here. Option for them to inhale overhead. And they can float overhead or they can stay right here at heart center. But I want you to find your grounding in this split stance position. That knee is where it likes to be. The joints love to be in line. We're not going to change that for them today. And I just want you to breathe. Focus on your candle. If our hands are overhead, on your next exhale, pull them down the midline for me. And then the palms come to face out. On your exhale, you're gonna push that heavy wall out in front of you. And when you get forward, you're gonna step forward into that Utkatasana, your chair position. And then you're gonna inhale up to that Tadasana, your mountain pose. And I'm gonna squat. Beautiful job. Find your stability on this side. Take a quick body scan. Notice what side of the body, what feels different between the left and the right. When you're ready, on an inhale, bring those arms overhead And exhale with a nice flat back to the earth in that forward fold. Inhale for that halfway lift, only if it makes you happy. Exhale all the way back down. Fingertips from the tent on the mat. You're going to peel off that left foot first, step it back, and then the right foot directly to your plank position. Option for a vinyasa flow if you'd love to take one. Exhale down all the way or halfway. Inhale up to cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale back to downward dog. And then I want you to bring your knees to the ground, untuck the toes and the hips over the heels for a well-deserved child's pose and rest. And I just want you to breathe. Get some water when you need to. Direct your breath to places that feel pressure. Notice if you can breathe into those places that feel pressure and exhale, and you've created some space and maybe they can relax just a little bit. Come back to that intention if you set one. Once your breath has come back to where you recognize it, you've come back to that Ujjayi breath. You want to build on your flow. When all of that is true for you, I just want you to inhale up to that tabletop position and take a couple rounds of cat and cow at your own breath pace. We can always reverse the breath cues in cat and cow. So if it doesn't feel great to us, we can inhale the belly button up and exhale it down, as opposed to the other way around. Maybe that feels better to your body today. That's okay. Spread those fingertips wide for me. Press into the fingertips. Inhale, tuck those toes. Exhale, lift the hips up and back to that downward dog. We are going to build on our flow, but we're going to get to it in a little bit of a different way. So I want you to inhale the gaze between the hands. Exhale, take a slow walk or a very gentle float to meet them at the top of your mat in that forward fold. Generous bend in the knees still. Maybe you grasp opposite elbows, create a basket for the head, and sway the spine side to side here. Always trying to do anything to reset the spine. Maybe you inhale for that halfway lift if it makes you feel good. Exhale back down. And then this time, generous bend in the knees. You're going to inhale, those arms come wide, scoop that air all the way up. Exhale it down the midline, open up to your Tadasana. Beautiful. And we're going to get to our flow in a little bit of a different way. You should recognize it. So whenever you're ready, I want you to inhale those arms up. Exhale, sink down and back into our Utkatasana, our chair pose. We've stepped forward into this before, so now we're just going to start from this place. Utkatasana, your weight has shifted back into your heels. Your toes could wave at me, and your tailbone is tucked slightly under, like we're just sitting down in an imaginary chair. Beautiful. Your hands can be up overhead or down at heart center. And I want you to find your candle again. Focus on it, because we're going to balance just a little bit. Bringing your weight to bear on that right foot. Gently peel that left heel off the mat. And with grace and ease, you're going to float that left foot back to our lunge. We've been here before. Now I want you to pivot that back heel so it meets the mat, but our toes still face up towards the top left-hand corner of the mat. Maybe we close the stance or widen it a little bit, but we're coming towards our warrior one. So quick thing to note, your hips are still squared towards the front of your mat. If we've opened towards the side, I want you to pivot that back foot back towards the front of your mat a little bit more. Beautiful, everybody. Those hands can float overhead or right here at heart center. And I just want you to breathe. All of our joints are in line where they like to be. We're building up some nice heat in this right side. Maybe you inhale those arms up if they're not already. And then I want you to exhale those shoulders and those elbows down. So our arms are at about a goalpost here. Beautiful. And maybe we arch our back just a little bit, heart facing up towards the ceiling. I'll move this back so you can see me a little bit more. And maybe we clasp our hands behind the body and open that heart a little more. And on your exhale, I want you to pour that heart to the inside of that front leg and release the hands whenever you're ready. Hands come out to the side. Inhale, back up towards that warrior one. Pull those hands down the midline. Hands come to face out, palms forward. On your exhale, you're gonna push that wall forward and then step forward back to that Utkatasana. And then inhale up for me. Beautiful, everyone. Inhale, those arms come up. Exhale with a nice flat back to the earth. You can inhale for that halfway lift if it makes you feel good. Exhale back down. Option to take a vinyasa flow if you'd love to take one, or you can pause here and dangling, whatever feels great to you. Stepping back with the left foot and then the right. Whatever vinyasa flow works for you if you're choosing to take one. And when you're ready, we're all gonna meet back in our dangling forward fold. So from our downward dog, inhaling the gaze between the hands first, exhale walking or floating to meet them at the top of our mat. Inhale for that halfway lift, offer that heart up. Exhale back down. Generous bend the knees come wide, the arms come wider, scoop that air all the way up. Exhale, pull it down to heart center. Open up to your Tadasana, your mountain pose. Everyone looks fabulous. You all doing okay? All right. So when you're ready, we're doing the exact same thing on the other side. So I want you to inhale those arms up. Exhale, sink down and back into your Utkatasana, your chair pose. Your weight is in your heels. Your toes could wave at me. Beautiful. The heart is forward, as if you had writing on your t-shirt and you wanted me to read it. Beautiful, everybody. And then same thing, make eye contact with that candle. I want you to bring your weight to bear on that left foot this time. Peel that right heel off. And with grace and ease, float it back. First that lunge, and then you're gonna pivot that back heel to meet the ground. Maybe you take a step in and out to do that. Inhale those arms up. This feels like your warrior one. If that back ankle or those back toes or that back knee feel really uncomfortable, play with your stance a little bit. You can step in and out even wider than the mat if you'd like. And I just want you to breathe. That front knee over top of your ankle, slightly behind it still. Shoulders stay out of the ears. Think back to your intention, pull from it. And then our hands will all go up if they're not there already. And then maybe we open up to our goalpost, shine that heart forward. Maybe we clasp hands behind us, open that heart up a little bit more. And exhale, pour forward to the inside of that front leg, releasing those hands as we go when we're ready. And then inhale all the way back up to your warrior two. Those hands come down, palms facing out. Press that wall out in front of you and step forward back into that chair. And then inhale up. And let it go, shake it out a little bit. Fabulous. Inhale those arms up for me. Exhale a nice flat back to the earth. Inhale for that halfway lift if it makes you happy. Exhale back down. Fingertips come to tent on the mat, sitting back with the right foot and then the left foot. Maybe you take a vinyasa flow. Maybe we meet all in child's pose, but that's where we're all gonna meet whenever you're ready. Maybe the hands come back behind the body. Maybe the big toes come together and the knees come wide and you sink the hips back over the heels for a wide-legged child's pose. Whatever feels great to your body. Come back to your breath. Come back to that intention if you set one. Letting it go if it no longer serves you, but drawing some more energy from it if you can. If your heart rate is elevated, that's okay. I just want you to breathe, inhale into it, Ujjayi, exhale out of it. Remind the heart that you've got this. We have one more opportunity to build onto our flow. So when you're ready and your body wants to move, and not a second before, there's no rushing in yoga. You're gonna inhale back up towards that tabletop position we've been in so often. Maybe take a few rounds of cat and cow, final rounds, if you'd like. Or maybe you meet us directly in downward dog, because that's where we're headed next. On your next inhale, I want you to tuck your toes. Exhale, lift the hips up and back for that downward dog. Inhale to gaze between the hands. Exhale, let's walk to meet them in that forward fold. I'm going to keep the camera angle where it is because you know what it looks like for our flow. The part that we're going to build onto it, you're going to be able to see with the camera like this. So inhaling for that halfway lift, offer that heart up if you'd like. Exhale it back down. Generous bend in the knees, inhale those arms wide, scoop that air all the way up to your Tadasana, your mountain pose. Hands come out to the side. I'm going to squat so that you can see me. And really ground your feet here. Feel yourself grounded into the ground, grounded into the floor, into your mat. You feel unmovable. You feel that strength. And when you're ready, on an inhale, those arms are going to come up. On an exhale, we're going to sink those hips down and back for our old favorite Utkatasana, weight is in the heels. Gaze comes down to the candle or the focal point that's been working for you. I want you to peel that left heel off the mat and very gently float it back and open up to your warrior one. We've been here before. Notice how the body maybe feels different from the first time we were here. Maybe you make some adjustments for the body. Whatever feels like the equal balance between respecting your boundaries and also challenging the body a little bit. And then when you're ready, I want you to pull the hands down. You're gonna push forward as if you're gonna step forward, but then I want you to bring your hand to the ground and lunge backward, peel that front foot off the mat. We're gonna make a circle with the body. So you're gonna inhale forward and up. Exhale, push forward and back. And come up in the back this time. Inhale forward, push, exhale down, and draw that circle like that semicircle we did earlier. Inhale up, exhale, push forward. I want you to move with your own breath. So if you want to go faster than I'm going, move with your breath. Push forward and exhale. Inhale back and up, and then exhale, push forward. 2 more times. Inhale back and up. Exhale, push forward and down. Inhale up. Exhale, push. And then we're all going to meet back in that warrior one. And then you're going to push forward one more time. Step forward and inhale up to Tadasana. Beautiful. Everybody that I could see with their cameras on did that so beautifully. I know it can feel a little funky, but you're just making a circle with the body and you all did great. So I want you to wiggle it out. Maybe take a little hop, you walk onto the toes, onto the heels. You see how you can make your foundation work the best. Because we have one more side to go. So when you're ready to flow on the other side, you know exactly where we're headed. Let's inhale those arms up high to the sky. Exhale, sink down and back into our Utkatasana or our chair pose. Find your candle. Peel the right heel off this time with grace and ease. Put it back and then open up to your warrior one. Notice what feels different on this side. The hips are still facing forward. Joints are still in line. And we're gonna make that circle again. I want you to pull those hands down the midline. Palms facing out. Exhale, push forward and come down. And then bring the hips back down towards the ground. Inhale up. Exhale, push forward and down. And then pull those hands down to the side. Exhale forward. Inhale back and up. Exhale, push forward. Hands come down. Bring those hands back on your inhale. Come up. Exhale forward 2 more times. Pull those hands back. You're moving like a wave. Exhale forward. And pull those hands back. And then inhale up and pause in that warrior one. Hands come out to the side like flashlights. Press forward, step forward. Inhale up. Shake it out. Beautiful. Inhale those arms up. Last time. Exhale with a nice flat back to the earth. Inhale for that halfway lift. Offer that heart up. Exhale back down. Fingertips going to tense on the mat. You're going to step back with that left foot. That right foot. Option for a Vinyasa flow if you'd love to take one. Or you can meet in a child's pose. We're all going to meet. Maybe the hands come behind the body. And I want you to rest in your child's pose. You did it. In our child's pose, come back to your breath again. Come back to that intention if you set one. Your body just traveled so far and we never left our mat. Our cool down and our Savasana are where your body's going to begin to thank you for the work you've done for it today. And all you've got to do to listen is just breathe. So when your body's ready, still not a second before, you're just going to inhale up to that tabletop position that we know so well. Maybe you take a round or two of cat and cow. Final ones. And then whenever you're ready, we're all just going to meet in a seated position near the top of our mat, where we have enough room to lay back down behind us. However long it takes you to get there, no rush. From here, I just want you to plant your feet on the ground, knees face up towards the ceiling like mountains. And very gently leaning back until our arms kind of like a bowl here. They're not straight, but they're not totally rounded yet. And the left palm can come off, and the right palm can come off. And we're gonna lean back just for a count of 7. So for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, all the way down. Inhale those legs in towards the chest. Hug them in. Move the camera a little bit. Hug the legs in towards the body. Maybe you draw some circles on the ceiling. Switching directions if we're drawing circles. Maybe you reach on the inside of the knees for the outside of the feet and you open up to your happy baby where you're stomping your legs out against the ceiling. You can rock side to side here, whatever feels good for your body. And then releasing those feet, hugging the knees in towards the chest again. I want you to hold on to your right leg and let the left leg extend long on your mat. And then using your left hand to guide the right knee across the body towards the left. The goal here is to keep both shoulders equally planted on the mat. So if that right shoulder is popping off with the body, bring the knee back towards center until it's on the mat. If that foot is floating off of the ground and it's uncomfortable for you, you can decrease the angle in that knee and bring the foot down towards the ground. Maybe the gaze comes over the right shoulder. That left hand can come up to a T or to a cactus arms. And we relax into the twist. Inhale that nose back towards center first. Full breath cycle. Before you very gently guide the knee back as well. Inhale the left knee to join it. Hugging both knees into the chest. Maybe you rock side to side. Or if you have no spine concerns, you can rock along the length of the spine. Whatever works. Coming back to stillness when you're ready. Holding on to that left knee. Letting the right leg extend long on your mat. Same thing on this side. That right hand can guide the leg across the body towards the right. Trying to keep both shoulders equally planted into the mat. Our arms can be at T's or at cactus arms. Maybe the gaze comes over that left shoulder. And I want you to relax into the twist. Inhaling that knee back towards center. Inhaling that nose as well. And then hugging both legs into the chest again. I want you to flex through your feet and let the feet come down towards the ground. The knees face up towards the sky. And then moving our feet so that our fingertips could almost brush our heels. I want the hands to come out to the side. And then you're just going to press into the feet to lift the hips off of the mat into your bridge pose. Maybe the hands stay out to the side. Maybe they clasp underneath the body. And you just pause here. Lowering back down to the mat whenever you're ready. Windshield wiping the knees to the left and to the right. Last time. Inhale those legs into the chest. Very gently let them both extend long on your mat. The toes can fall away from each other. The hands can come to the sides of the body. We like to say that palms can face up to collect energy or can face down to find grounding. Maybe your eyes close again, or you find a gentle gaze. And you're just going to begin to let the body relax completely into your mat. Trusting your mat to hold everything that you've got to offer, to support you in everything that you need. And you're just going to relax. Very gently beginning to bring some awareness back to the body. Wiggling the fingers and the toes. Making small circles with the wrists, the ankles. When you're ready, inhaling those arms overhead, pointing the toes, taking a full body stretch. On your exhale, rolling to the left side, using your bicep as a cushion for your head. The last time all together, we're going to reflect on those intentions we might have set. Letting them go if they no longer serve us, holding them in if we wish to carry them with us. And spreading the fingertips on that right hand wide, feeling the connection between each fingertip and the ground in front of you. On an exhale, you're going to push into that hand to come back to seat at the top of your mat, where we're going to end class together. Once we're here, let's inhale those palms overhead to touch one final time. We'll exhale them down the midline, pause at the forehead, maybe think kind thoughts. We're going to pause at the lips, maybe speak kind words, and we're going to pause finally at the heart. May we have kind intentions to ourselves and to those around us. Thank you all so much for sharing with me this evening. May you be happy, may you be safe and healthy. May you walk this earth with peace and at ease, and may you find the space to help others along the way. Namaste, yogis. All right.